You are light. Yeah! All right, everybody. Sounds like it's the starter. Okay. How we doing, everybody? This is LVA Tour of the Fancy Action Now. Long time no video. So, I am using my new Amazon Basics professional mic today. Isn't it special? It's quite beefy. It's quite large. Like you see a lot of these type of mics, baby. A lot of these type of mics are kind of like 1/3 smaller, you know. But we love it. Anyway. So far, so good. I just unboxed it yesterday. I did not include you in the unboxing because I wanted to use it, but I found out that I wasn't really using it. I was using the default audio. So I set up this video to use this mic specifically for the audio of this video. So we'll see how things go. Anyway. Mixer is dead. This is another funeral. I don't know if I get through this. Oh, live on air. I'm so sorry. I don't know. It's the third funeral in as many days, and please bear with me. Tear. All right, there you go. Mixer is dead. It was never achieved relevancy. They tried to purchase relevancy, as Microsoft has tried to do, and many companies have tried to do. We are going to do... There is going to be another funeral. Yet another funeral today. We will not reveal who it is, but it's another huge tech giant who tried to buy relevancy in a space that they don't typically work in, they're not an expert in, they're not good at, and failed miserably and continues to pour money down the rat hole. At least, Microsoft has decided to cut and run. They have been zoomed out. Okay. So, you know, they have officially gone. They've paid a man named Ninja. There should be a little mini documentary about Ninja and the Mixer. I never liked the name either. I never liked Mixer. Sometimes these big corporations, they take their standard launch model that's always worked. They sit in the boardroom and they say, it's always worked. But they didn't come up from the grassroots, and they don't have the particular individuals. They take executives that have managed stuff that has been created previously and has drawn a profit, and they say, oh, you have credibility. We're going to stick you on this. They don't have the heart. They don't have the drive. They're a decadent person. They're in the decadent phase. They're not in the pioneer phase. Twitch was a pioneer, and they have that fire. They have that pioneer spirit, although they've become this, you know, giant streaming monolith. Understood, okay? But they had the attitude of a pioneer. Microsoft has the attitude of a totalitarian regime that thinks it can do everything well. And and just like many totalitarian regimes, governments, and companies, you don't do everything well. You do some things well. That doesn't translate into everything well. A lesson from history was Crassus, where we get the word crass from. That was actually someone's name. His name was Crassus. And he was around in the time of Caesar. He was old, but he made a lot of money doing kind of insurance scams in Rome. He did like a fire scam where there was a lot of buildings in Rome, the city itself, that were wood, and they caught fire a lot. You know, there was oil lamps and things like that, so they had a lot of fires. So he owned his own private fire department. So what it would happen is when these buildings would catch fire, and there were some rumors that he would set them, but let's just say he was working above board, and if a building caught fire, he would send his fire department there, but he would also send a real estate, quote unquote, of the time, a real estate agent to offer money for the house at a discounted rate. So let's say you had let's say a $30,000 house, okay? It catches fire. The fire department comes along and you're like, thank God, put the fire out. Well, we want to buy that property from you at $5,000. Meanwhile, the house is burning. And what? Wait, that's a 30. Well, it's not going to be anything if you continue to let it burn. Okay, give me the money. And he would get all of these properties and rent them and use them to generate revenue. So he ran a fire department protection racket, essentially, and made millions. I mean, equivalent to in the Roman era. He made tons of money, became a very rich man, and he sponsored other politicians for notoriety. One thing Crassus wanted to be is the number one guy. He wanted to be the warrior. He wanted to be famous. And he would sponsor other people that he thought would facilitate his notoriety and fame. One of them was Pompey the Great. Another one was Julius Caesar, who was a minor politician. He was a young politician going through what they call the cursus honorum, which is just a series of public offices that you grew and you did on your way to rising yourself in society. The cursus honorum. So Crassus, now you understand Crassus, and I'm comparing Microsoft to Crassus. Crassus wanted the notoriety of people that were good at things he wasn't very good at. He was creative, he was good at making money, but he was not a warrior, he was not a general. And he wanted to be that. That's what he aspired to be, instead of recognizing himself to be, hey, I'm not a warrior, I'm an average man in the physical category, I'm getting older. He pursued these things as an older man, as a kind of a midlife crisis, 50, 60 years old, way too old to start going on campaign and trying to build a reputation as a warrior. So he was jealous of Caesar, Caesar originally, if you didn't know this, went to Crassus to borrow money for his first campaigns into Gaul, which made him famous. And ultimately, when he returned from Gaul to cross the Rubicon, he ascended by the sword to the Emperor of Rome, the first Emperor of Rome. But he initially borrowed money from Crassus to get started. So Crassus saw, as Caesar was sending his commentaries back to Rome, and Caesar's fame began to grow and grow and grow, he became jealous. He's like, I funded this guy. He's getting all of this, recognition for slaying these filthy barbarians in Gaul. I'm going to make a name for myself, like Alexander, like the great Pompey, and I am going to go to Parthia, which is basically the Middle East back in the day. I'm going to go to Parthia, and I am going to wage a campaign, and I'm going to liberate Parthia. I'm going somewhere with this. So Crassus took all this, a ton of money, funded a legion, and marched for Parthia. A king in the area that was friendly to Rome on the border said, I am your friend, Crassus. The Parthians are harassing my border. Let me join with you, use my lands, pass through my lands. wage your campaign and have the protection of my army and of my lands and my people and supplies and everything that you need to wage this campaign against the Parthians. He refused the help. I don't need the help of this Parthian or this barbarian king who presumes that Crassus, again inflated in his own head, Crassus does not need your help. So he eschewed the help, he ignored the help. He marched his army and he found a guide on the road who could translate for him. Unbeknownst to Crassus, this guide was a spy with the Parthian army. But he said, Crassus, oh, great Crassus. He appealed to his vanity and he said, I will guide you and show you all the watering holes. And so you know, it's dry, it's desert area. He goes, I'm going to show you where all the oases are. I know exactly where the military, the armies are positioned. I will be your guide, please, great Crassus. And this guy basically led him deep into the desert. There's no water anywhere. His troops are exhausted. They're parched. And he led them into an ambush. He led Crassus's whole legion into an ambush where they were attacked by the Parthian army and completely destroyed. And Crassus himself was taken prisoner and beheaded. Total disaster. And the Romans, after that fact, after that terrible defeat, never took any other Parthian territory. That line of division between the Mediterranean areas and the Middle East has never moved from his era. It is coterminous with today. The same border that he sought to expand is the border that it is today, as one of the greatest defeats, military defeats in history. So what I would say to that little history lesson, what I would say to Microsoft is learn from Crassus. You learn the hard way. Not everybody is a soldier and a warrior. Not everybody is going to dominate streaming or dominate MP3 and music like Apple and Zune, and now Twitch and Mixer. Are we seeing a trend, Microsoft? Wow. This has been LVO Tour of the Fancy Action Now for the Game.